Just listen. I'm sorry what I did to Compton.
You are listening to
Fire emergency.
Please don't touch this weapon. I'm sorry I killed that girl.
Welcome once again to the Grim Fix podcast. I am one of your hosts, David. Yep, that's me, David. I am here with Charles and JR in the building.
What's up?
What's up, everyone?
We are glad to be here once again with a spanking brand new episode. First of all, before we start, right? If you have not subscribed, if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It is totally free. For those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much. Your support is very much appreciated. Like the video, share with your friends, blah, 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 algorithm, you know. If you are listening to us in a podcast platform, I also ask you, please follow the podcast. Drop us a review. Drop us a couple of stars if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts.
Comments.
I don't know if Spotify I know you can follow. I don't know if you can review and whatever, but if you can, please do so. If you are listening to us on iHeartRadio, you can also follow. Just follow and share. All right. Social media. Trying to get this all out the way now before we get into our conversations. Social media, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, the Grim Fix Podcast. And we also would like to remind you, if you have a story you want us to read and discuss in the show, you want to be one of our stars on the show, one of the topic people, drop us your story. Send us an email at thegrimfixpodcast@gmail.com. Give us a story. If you want to be anonymous, you can just write it. Please don't mention my name. We won't. And let us hear your story. If it's a true crime story, murder mystery story, if it's a paranormal story, if it's a cryptic creature story, stuff like that. We want to hear all about it. And
anything weird.
Yeah, anything.
Or if you shat yourself.
Or if your balls are showing. We want to hear about it. We want to discuss it. Anything weird. Yes. Listen, I found myself watching videos on Bigfoot.
Sasquatch.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, I found okay. Saturday was a day that I was here. My wife was going out. She was driving to a friend's house, and my son had plans, so I was just here and just me and the dogs. So I was debating, what do I want to do? I was thinking of maybe hitting the mall with some friends. Then they had stuff to do, so anyway, it just ended up being me. I go down this rabbit hole, first of all, watching commercials.
Commercials?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Is it retro?
Yes, that's why. So I don't remember what it was that I saw or heard. Something my wife mentioned. Something triggered me to start searching for 80s commercials.
I've seen myself do that many a time.
Holy shit. Like, I found this channel. I don't remember the name right now. This channel has over 900 volumes of video compilations of 80s commercials.
Where was this at?
In YouTube.
Oh, okay, YouTube. Okay.
I'm telling you, I shit you not. I probably watched for like an hour before taking my wife out. Took her to her destination, came back, sat down, and I think I watched for like another 2 hours just watching commercials.
I could bet you that the beef was in there.
Not yet. I haven't got there. That's why. So it's like I'm on volume 25, I think now. They're about, some of them are 10 minutes long, the compilation. Some are 15, whatever, 20 minutes. And it's just a lot of these commercials I don't remember because it's probably like early 80s. I was, probably a newborn.
Yeah, but
I
they
mean, I was
still
1
must.
year
You still
old.
must have seen them later on.
But some of them I did see. I really enjoyed. Oh, okay. So what triggered it was we were talking about randomly. We were talking about, I think, like how, back then commercials, most of them gave you a message, right? Like I
Yeah.
remember coming home from school and you had at 3:00, you had cartoons and they would play these commercials from the Church of Jesus of Latter-day Saints, right?
They still give them.
So that's how the conversation started. And I was like, yeah, I remember one that it was about lying. And the song was like, if you tell one lie, it leads to another. You tell two lies, or some shit like that, right? So that's the commercial I was looking for. So forget it. I sat down and I watched this whole time. I didn't see it, but I haven't gotten there yet. But I saw commercials.
More Ovaltine, please. I don't know if you got to see that one.
Not yet. I haven't seen Ovaltine. I saw a bunch of like Coke and Pepsi commercials.
Yeah, there were so many. They really wanted you to drink soda.
Like I told my wife, I was like, you see how these commercials, they work psychologically. Because I kid you not, like by the end, I was dying to drink like a cold Pepsi. Right? I was like, yeah, man, go for a Pepsi now. So I saw those, like the McDonald's commercials, like, wow. The McDLT, remember that?
Oh, yes. Damn.
I saw Teddy Ruxpin commercials.
Oh.
Let me see what else.
Ninja Turtles.
Did you see?
Not Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles came later on in the late 80s.
The 90s. Okay.
Did you see the commercial where the Pepsi commercial where Alfonso Ribeiro dances like Michael Jackson?
Yeah, with Michael Jackson. Yes. They put that one. I saw commercials of like Epcot Center when one of the rides was themed on Michael Jackson, which that's not there anymore. I'm telling you, it was a bunch of shit. I did see a commercial. Funny thing that I was telling my wife, we have these random conversations. And one of our conversations was about how, we buy our kids, right, what we never had. That's what everybody says. So I remember there was this one toy that I wanted and I never got. And it was a race car. It was a remote control race car, RC. It had like super speed and whatnot. And I remember when my son was little, I ended up buying him something like an even better version of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw that the Sega commercial when the Sega first came out.
Yeah.
Like
Nintendo
when it first came out, I saw that commercial. I was like, wow, man. Like,
yeah, with the little robot.
So there was these two systems I've never heard of. I meant to write down the names. I was like, I've never heard of that. One of them was like a sort of. No, it wasn't ColecoVision. I saw the Atari commercial. I don't remember. It was a weird name.
Now you got me
never seen that before. And then there was another one that you connected to the TV that it was sort of like, you guys ever seen a Leap Pad?
Yeah.
For kids, it's like a learning. Yes. So it was something like that, but it wasn't a Leap Pad. Anyway.
Was it like a robot, little robot?
No. That one, it was like, it looked like like this keyboard, like this. And then you just connected it to the TV and you like did stuff on it. And
because I had a similar thing when I was a kid. It was called Socrates, I think it was.
Socrates, yes. That's one of them. Yes.
Socrates?
Yeah. Socrates. This is the little robot, the little looks like Wally.
Holy shit. Yeah, I remember that. That was when I was like, oh shit, Socrates. That was one of them. Yeah. And then there's another one.
Yo, right now I'm totally lost. I never heard of it.
That's what I'm saying. I never heard of that. I never heard of that. I was like, oh shit.
Hey,
and I had a talk and play.
One for Charles for having something from the retro.
All right.
And a talk and play. I think I still have it somewhere.
Oh, that's the little toy where you just put in the letters and it would read it.
It had like you could put a cassette and it had stories and you had to interact with them. It had like 4 buttons.
Oh yeah, okay, I
A
know which one
red
it is.
one, a blue one, a yellow one, and a green one, I think.
Yeah, I know which one it is.
I remember my
Yeah.
little brother had Casey. You remember that? It
Who?
was a robot. It was called Casey, and you put a cassette. And then
Yeah, he also had the Teddy
his mouth would
Ruxpin.
move. Yeah, he had the Teddy Ruxpin and the Grubby. But I remember the Casey, and then we discovered, oh shit, if you put music cassettes in it, the mouth moved according to the
Yeah.
music. And that was like, holy shit, that's so high tech. But yeah, man, it was just a bunch of cool stuff. I was like, wow, you see, like even like McDonald's commercials had like a message to it. And I mean, we don't see that anymore.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Okay, but where do we get to the Sasquatch point?
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, we kinda
So
lost in
after that, after I'm like watching commercials and commercials and commercials and commercials, I started getting a little sleepy. I was like, let me change this. So I'm looking for ideas for the podcast. And I was like, okay, you know, gotta find some other stuff. I'm looking for like paranormal shit. This video, I remember the other day, last week, in the beginning of last week, some report came out. I didn't look it up because I didn't. But I remembered a report came out that someone has one of the closest videos of Bigfoot that they recently discovered in a camping trip.
What year came out? For what year is the video?
I
You
think it
don't know?
was this year. That's what I'm saying. It was like recent. This like just
Oh
happened.
wow.
So I
haven't
thought of
seen
that.
it yet.
And I was like, okay, but instead of looking it up, no, I'm like on my TV with the remote. And I was like, let me put YouTube. So I just put Bigfoot. And I just started watching. I never saw which video they were talking about. So I just, again, you go down this rabbit hole. And I just started watching this video. It was long. She was like half an hour long. It was like a vlog type video. He goes camping with his friend, and you're like watching everything they're going through and how they're traveling through Nebraska. And they go to this Bigfoot museum that they have, where they have like footprints and stuff like that, and cast and like these rinky-dink posters, and they have posters of the classic video of the Bigfoot, which they say that it was a man in a suit.
Yeah, that's the one that's from afar.
You see him walking. Yeah, you see him walking like he's going somewhere, like in a rush. So they have like a poster of that, and then they have like articles of like alien sightings and stuff like that, of campers and hikers. So yeah. So I just started watching that video, and then eventually I got tired, so I stopped looking. But it is a topic. No, I'm saying that it is a topic I would like to discuss one day. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, so
I've always been
mix
intrigued
it
by
up.
Bigfoot.
We could mix it up with a little bit of mermaid, because I was watching videos on mermaids. They were showing like the mermaids that were found, videos that were shot from afar, the fin flapping. They found I think it was a mummified Little Mermaid. Most of them you can see it's just fake. You know, it's like that documentary. I don't know if you ever got to see that documentary about these scientists. They were in a little sub, and out of the blue you can see a mermaid just put the hand on the glass and swim by.
Damn it.
See, with technology, ahora como que you can't, ¿cómo te lo digo?
You can't believe everything.
Yeah, exactly. Antes era como que like, oh, if you take a picture, like it must be true. But ahora with technology, like cualquier cosa, like it's hard.
We got the technology. We got the technology to prove a lot of stuff, but that same technology is the one that's being used to make things up.
Yeah.
So you know, anything nowadays can be edited.
Yeah. So I know that they also discovered, and I saw this yesterday. I'm looking it up here so I can. Oh, here it is. So they found the fossilized dinosaur embryo.
Exactly. That's what I heard.
Let me save this picture so I can show our viewers.
How true is that?
What it looks like. Well, it's actually on like credible sources. Let me see. Like CBS News. It's actually on news. It's not like
one of those rinky dink
fake news, weird stuff .uk. No, none of that. It's just like a real website.
Why UK?
Because I don't know. Usually these long ass
web
addresses with these fake news and like these weird shit. It's always like .uk something, and I'm like, what is that? Like, that's not even. And then you see people go on Facebook and they just start sharing it, like it's a fact. Yep. Like, oh, look what I found. No, look at the source, man. So, yeah, they found that. Yes, that's very intriguing because I do believe we're already at the stage where we have the technology to bring dinosaurs back.
Shit, Jurassic Park.
If we decide to, I truly believe that.
Like, so do I. Is there. But I don't think that's my opinion. I don't think it would be a good idea.
I don't know, man. I think, and I've always thought this. Even when I saw the movies, I always said like, I understand the curiosity behind it. I understand how it sounds like a cool idea. To be like, yo, that'd be awesome, right? Again,
to have big lizards eat us.
But that's what I'm saying. I understand the thought process behind it. Do I think it's a good idea? No. Would I like to see it? Yeah.
It's like,
but sharks. I understand it's not a good. We've seen how the movies play out.
Yeah, well, it's not always the same. But knowing humanity,
it's a good possibility. It's a good,
trying to create something, you know.
Humans always look for a way to, ruin shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we were talking before we started recording. You were talking about what is it, Grimcutty?
Yeah, Grimcutty. I just bumped into that. I actually bumped into it by mistake because I was looking for another movie, and it just came up on a file. So I said, no, fuck it. Let me just keep watching it. And it just caught my eye. It was interesting because it was about, these kids nowadays, they're all like addicted to their phones and to their laptops and whatnot.
Yes.
And it got to the point where, I don't know if you ever saw it back in not that long ago. They had this kind of ugly ass face that they would put up on I guess on YouTube. TikTok and whatnot.
What was that? It was the
trying to remember the name.
Something. I remember I had a Spanish podcast and we did an episode on that. Oh my god, what was the name of that?
I can't remember the name.
Was it Momo?
Yes, Momo.
Okay, it's sort of something like that. It's just some weird creature, and it just made these kids, for some reason, made them cut themselves, commit suicide and whatnot. Parents were like so upset.
I love how Charles is smiling while you're saying all this.
The parents were so upset, because they're like, yo, these kids are so addicted to their phones and they're listening to everything that they say or they do on the websites that they're doing it to themselves. But the whole thing is, it's not exactly like that. If I don't want to give it away.
Oh, go ahead, give it away. I don't think it's a movie many people have watched, but it's interesting so far.
It is. It was interesting. So the thing that caught my eye was the fact the addiction. But that creature would come out in life. But it wasn't because of the kids. It was because of the parents, because they worry more than what the kids were. You understand? I don't know. I guess they're.
So what were the parents worried about?
That they were cutting themselves. They all thought that all that they read and saw was making them do all these self-inflicted wounds or these suicides. But it wasn't. It was the creature itself. When they would see whatever it is that they were seeing on the internet, it would come to life. That creature is the one that cuts them. But when the parents sees them, they see them cutting themselves.
They don't see the monster.
Exactly. But who's creating the creature is the parents. It's just weird.
you see how there's like a hidden agenda behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dissect this. Hold up.
Let's see if we on the same page.
Think about it. The whole device addiction, that shit is real. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Totally agree.
That shit is 1,000,000% real, right? Yep. When I was in college, I actually wrote a paper on this. And I wrote about how addiction, right? I mean, kids are so addicted to this, to these devices, to these images, to these stimulants, to visual stimulants since they're babies. Because nowadays you see parents, they don't want to take care of their kids. They just go, here, be quiet. Right? So these kids, ever since they're in their strollers, since they're months old, oh, here, watch Blippy or Bluey or whatever the fuck, right?
They already know. They already know where to head.
Yeah, they know.
The skip ads.
They just give them a tablet, an iPad, a phone.
Yeah, the skip ad button. Yeah.
I'm trying to address this without sounding like an old person because that's the excuse now. Oh, is that you guys are old?
You're a boomer.
Yeah, you're a boomer. You don't know what you're talking about. Kids grew up with this. Yes, of course. Do kids grow up knowing more about technology? Of course. Is that a good thing? Of course. Now, when you're letting devices raise your kid, and I'm very passionate about this topic because it really bothers me. But when you let devices raise your kids, don't be surprised when all of a sudden, because notice the patterns. This is what I always tell everybody. Look at the patterns. All of a sudden you see, oh, my daughter goes to school. She's having trouble paying attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my son is going to school. He's having trouble listening or following directions or getting engaged in class because they get bored, right?
True.
And it's quickly they quickly take them to a doctor and the doctor slaps a label on them. Oh, they have ADD or they have ADHD, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not a doctor. I know dick about this. I'm just telling you what I see.
We gotta say the phrase. We gotta say the phrase.
We know nothing.
We know dick.
I'm just dick. You gotta see. I mean, just look at the patterns. Look at the patterns. So you see these kids, they grow up around this and this. You can't listen. Kids don't know what it is to be bored anymore.
Nope.
Back then, it's like you're bored. I'm sorry. Figure it out. Use your imagination. Read a book. They don't do that anymore. Why? Yeah. Listen, I've seen kids, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not joking. 100% serious. I've seen kids that I've given them a jump rope. They don't know what to do with that.
Sad.
They don't know how to play with it. They just start whipping it around. They start whipping it around. They don't know what a jump rope is. So you see these kids watching these shows, these YouTube video. And listen, I love technology. I think YouTube is such a great tool for so many things. I think then technology is amazing, but it's all about knowing how to. Anything in access is harmful to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you see these kids watching these like YouTube shows, and sometimes they're dressed as characters for kids, and parents think it's okay. Yeah, they're watching whatever, this YouTuber, and they're talking about, I don't know, cartoons or whatever. But if you truly sat down and watch what they're watching, you'd understand why these kids, their whole thoughts are being like distorted somewhat. And I'm not saying, just in case, I'm not saying that social media and YouTube and all this technology ruins kids. That's not what I'm saying at all. Again, there's tons of great tools out there, great shows, great content that they can watch, that can teach them and they can learn. But there's also tons of destructive information out there that they're so easily exposed to.
Yes. And it still all goes back to the parents.
So it's our job as parents to closely monitor what are they consuming. Because you see parents tell you, it's like, would you let your kids talk to random strangers in the street?
Of course not.
Would you let random strangers raise your children? Take care of them? Oh, quickly everybody says, oh, no. But that's what you're doing when you're not supervising what they're watching. Somebody else out there around the world that probably does not have good intentions towards kids is teaching them. And you're letting them learn from them. The movie, by what you described, kind of makes you think what I was just saying, right? How technology or content or whatever it is influences kids. But then the movie switches it around. And it goes towards the other narrative. It's not the content. It's the parents.
It's the parents worrying.
So basically, the parents are worrying for nothing.
Well, yeah, basically.
That's because what the message is.
Yeah.
Boom! The hidden agenda.
That's basically what it is. They're the ones causing it, And they just the way they make it sound is like they're overreacting. I get it. You got to worry about what they're watching, but don't overreact to everything that they're watching.
That's the narrative. So there you go. You got the two sides. You believe what you want. If you're for technology, listen, more power to you.
Yeah,
if you believe that it's, content can't hurt your kids, believe that. If you believe it doesn't, then let your kids rock and watch whatever they want.
The way they do a couple of things there, it's not correct, because if you're being followed, the way they make it sound or look is that if you're being followed and you know what's causing it, what are you supposed to do? You gotta either stop your parents. So how they do it, they kill their parents.
Oh shit! I didn't see that coming.
That's what I'm saying. That's why.
That's the agenda.
Narrative. Yeah. That's the narrative, man. Nowadays, and listen, I have to repeat this because I know there's plenty of people out there that are super sensitive and get upset when you say something that they don't agree with. It is what it is. But that's the truth. Listen, when it comes to parenting, you're going to choose whatever parenting style you think is best. What I say is you're going to choose whatever parenting you want and whatever you think is correct. But then you shouldn't complain about when you see things going completely wrong. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody goes through hardship. Oh, I mean, let's look at the patterns of what causes certain behaviors. And we've talked about this when we talk about serial killers. We've seen people that have grown up being mistreated and abused, and they turn out to be serial killers. We've seen people that have been mistreated and abused and are fine, right? They're upstanding citizens. I mean, I guess do whatever you feel is right for you, but you will reap what you sow. That's my message. Grimcutty. It sounds like grim sex, because cutty is it's a slang word for bucking. I'm Buck and I'm here to fuck.
I'm here to fuck.
So that was Grimcutty.
Oh, really?
So, all right. Today's case, we're talking about a serial killer from my hometown, New York City.
Yep.
Even though he did live in Jersey, he lived here in New York. He was actually born here, if I'm not mistaken. So who are we talking about? We are talking about Richard Cottingham.
Richard Cottingham. Every time I hear that, I think of Happy Days.
Richard Cottingham? Why?
Because it's Richie Cunningham.
Oh.
Every time I hear it, I just think about that. I just hear that song playing in my head. The Happy Days theme song.
I wonder if they called him Dick, right?
Dick Cottingham?
Well, yeah, because everybody who's not everybody, people who are named Richard, their nickname is Dick.
I was actually having that sort of conversation with my son-in-law because he has a boss that they call him Dick. So I said, was it Richard? No, they just call him Dick.
Oh, well, yeah. People that are named Richard call him Dick. People that are named like William, they call them Bill. I don't remember understood
I would
why.
understand Will, but Bill, really?
Yeah, they usually call him Bill.
It's like me. They would call me Charles, and yet Charles is right across from me.
Yeah, Charles. Charles. All right.
Charles in charge.
Okay, so let's dig into Richard Cottingham. So, believe it or not, I never heard of this person.
Neither
and apparently there's a documentary on Netflix that is called, let me see, I think I have the name here. It's on Criminal Minds. And there's a special on Netflix. Criminal Minds. Oh, and on Serial Killer also.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of him. The reason why he came up in our radar is because of the recent developments on this serial killer, right? So Richard Cottingham, they called him the Times Square Killer, right?
Yeah, Times Square Killer and also the Torso Killer.
And they also called him the Torso Killer. He was a serial rapist and abductor and ephebolic serial killer. I don't know what ephebolic means, but let's see if it shows me here what it means.
A feeble-file.
A feeble-file. And feeble-file is a person who is primarily attracted to mid to late or post-adolescents or boys and girls who have gone through puberty and have advanced signs of adult sexual maturation.
So, they come up with all these complicated words just to...
Generally, this means teenagers between 15 and 19 years old.
Oh, tweens?
Yes.
Yeah, tweens.
Though it may depend on the teenager's puberty status. So I guess what he liked was the whole being young, but looking developed, right?
Yeah, like at that point, developing.
So yeah, that's weird. I've never heard of that word.
Every case we've heard and spoken about is weird.
Ephebolic serial killer.
It's crazy.
And a feeble-file. I've never heard of that. Oh, the more you know. All right.
Knowing is half the battle.
So let's dig into this gem's background. Cottingham was born in Bronx, New York in 1946, but his family moved to New Jersey when he was 12. He had two younger siblings. His father worked for an insurance company and his mother was a homemaker. His childhood was fairly normal. When his family moved to New Jersey, he entered 7th grade at St. Andrews, where he had trouble making friends since he was new to the area. Because he had poor eyesight, he wasn't good at sports. In high school, where he fit in better, he joined the track team because it allowed him time alone. He was a loner, a rebel.
You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
Yeah, but track team, you're never alone.
I don't know, I guess practicing you by yourself? I don't know. Stay behind everybody. I don't know. So after graduating, he found work as a computer operator at the insurance company where his father worked, and also took computer classes. When he was 20, Cottingham got a job at the Blue Cross Blue Shield Association as a computer operator. So far, we're up to his 20s. He seems to have had a normal childhood. Moving, everybody moves.
Basically.
I mean, most people move. I moved when I was 10 years old, and we moved across the ocean to a small island called Puerto Rico. But yeah, by the time as a computer operator in 1967, he was aged 21. Cottingham committed his first murder. He fatally strangled a 29-year-old woman named Nancy Vogel, a crime he didn't confess to until 2010. Damn it, this was in 1967.
Mm-hmm.
Confessed in 2010. In 1969, he was convicted of drunken driving and was sentenced to a $50 fine and 10 days in jail. At the age of 23, he married. In 1972, he was charged with robbery and sexual assault, but the case was dismissed. During his serial killing years, Cottingham had at least 2 affairs. In 1979, that's when yours truly was born, his wife filed for divorce. For some reason, she withdrew it after his arrest and moved to Poughkeepsie with their children. So before
it's crazy how these people can have doble vida. And, you know, and you're a killer, but at the same time you live like
I think that's the most insane thing. Yes, when you see that these people live these normal lives, and then they have this totally twisted other life.
Yes,
that sounds more fetish.
You think so?
Something that they just like to do. I don't know, because if they never lived a traumatic life, which is what most of the time all these serial killers, cause them to kill. Well, if he had a normal life, this is just a fetish then.
Yeah, so pero es que tú vienes otra vez al punto de if you are born evil or are you made evil.
Yeah,
it all boils down to that question.
So again, after 14 episodes of the Grimfix podcast, what do you think? Do you think you are born evil? Or do you think you are made
we need some viewers to give us some comments, to give us, I guess, their view, their side of the point of view.
¿Sabes lo que me acuerda de esto? ¿Tú te acuerdas de American Horror Story Season 9, 1984?
Okay.
¿Tú te acuerdas? De que usualmente it boils down to the question, que if you are born evil or are you made evil. ¿Te acuerdas el cantito cuando te enseñan that she thinks her dad is having the affair, and then she goes to the house, and then she finds the dead lady tied up to the bed, and resulta que the dad was a serial killer and she didn't know about it. And then he goes like, oh, it's like a hunger and I need to feed it, and then he ends up killing himself, like, and she goes like, no, this is not you, like, this is not my dad, you're not like this. And so literalmente he had a double life también, como que tenía su vida de familia, but at the same time, por el otro lado, he will kill women. Like, it's crazy.
But that's why, like, the show Dexter, their families. The show Dexter, I mean, I can't believe you guys haven't watched that, but the show Dexter,
I did watch it. I did.
Okay. So the show Dexter, that's what it's about, like his inner cravings to kill, something he can't control. He is a psychopath. And he just can't control it. He just finds ways to satisfy that need he has in the most decent way he knows how. So I need to kill people, but instead of killing random innocent people, I'm only going to kill people that deserve to die. So again,
would you applaud that?
Yeah, man.
Would you applaud that?
I think
I would. Listen, I would.
I want to say yes. Obviously, the answer is no. We shouldn't applaud that. We shouldn't, encourage this type of behavior. Right? This is me trying to like sound politically correct, right? If you want to say that. But to be honest, I get it. Like something like that. I mean, I think we've all at one point or another have seen somebody do something very heinous, something crazy, something to someone that did not deserve that. And then you see them get away with it or something.
Yeah.
These are the type of people like you want to see some type of vengeance, some type of justice. With that being said, that's what I'm saying. I can't say I agree because I don't know, man. I mean, people do change somewhat, I guess. I want to believe that. But there are people that deserve justice and sometimes they don't get it. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah. That's very much summarized.
So, Charles, again, do you believe people are made evil or born evil?
I think it's a mixture of both. That's my final answer. It's a mixture of both. You can't just pick one side. It's a mixture of both.
Yeah, but I think there's still a little bit of space in there too. If they're born evil, there's still some wiggle space for the parents to adjust them. I'm guessing.
I mean, we spoke about this last time. The whole nature
Yeah,
versus
many times.
nurture. I keep believing. I agree with Charles. Like, I think it's a mixture of both. I think a person who has that in them, I think it all depends on what do you feed in life. I think we all have potential for good and bad. And whatever you feed will grow more.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's, if you feed evil thoughts. If you feed, evil deeds, then that's what you will reap what you sow. I mean, this is me. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And then I think the middle part is for people. Some people do have mental illness where they have no control over what takes over. I think that would be like the middle ground for me. And there are people who truly have mental health, like real mental health issues, where they don't know what they're doing or they can't control it. They have no control over their urges or themselves. But then there are people that do, and they just choose to do just disgusting, horrifying acts. Again, this is just my opinion. I don't know shit. All right.
I don't know shit either.
All right. So, as a computer operator in 1967, age 21, Cottingham committed his first murder. Okay, read that. Fatally strangling 29-year-old woman named Nancy Vogel. A crime he confessed to in 2010. In 1960s, okay, I read this also. Okay, at the age of 23, he married. He was charged with robbery and sexual assault, but the case was dismissed. During his serial killing years, Cottingham had at least 2 affairs, which we read. In 1975, his wife filed for divorce. For some reason, she withdrew it after her arrest and moved to Poughkeepsie with her children. That's intriguing to me. Like, why would you... I've never heard of somebody withdrawing their divorce. Okay.
Maybe he threatened her?
Well, but she only withdrew it after his arrest. So he wasn't around. And then she moved away.
Dun.
Yep. All right. So from 1967 to 1980, Cottingham is known to have killed 9 females and attempted to kill an additional 4. Before we continue, just in case, I am reading an article from criminalminds.fandom.com. I did not find the writer, but I'm giving credit to the website because I don't know who wrote it. But yes, criminalminds.fandom.com. Okay, so Cottingham is known to have killed 9 females and attempted to kill an additional 4, though he has claimed to have killed as many as 100. On the night of December 15, he abducted a 26-year-old nurse named Marianne Carr from the parking lot near her apartment, took her to a motel, tortured, and killed her. In March the following year, Cottingham, using the alias John Schaefer, approached a woman named Karen Schlitt, right, in a bar. He drugged her and took her to an unknown location. He raped her and left her for dead in a sewer near an apartment complex. Because she was found by a hotel employee, she survived, but couldn't remember much useful information about the assault. So the case went cold until Cottingham's arrest. In October, he drugged, sexually assaulted, and tried to kill a prostitute named Susan Geiger, who also survived. In the beginning of December of 1979, Cottingham solicited a pair of prostitutes, took them to the Travelodge Motor Inn in New York, spent the night torturing, killing, and mutilating both of them, removing their heads and hands and taking them with him.
Crazy.
And then he set the room and the bodies on fire. They were found when the staff saw smoke coming from under the door. Only one of the victims, Dita Gazzari, was identified. The identity of the other remains unknown, though she is estimated to have been in her late teens. All right, so now we're going to move forward to 1980. In 1980, Cottingham attacked 4 women within less than 3 weeks. The first, Valerie Ann Street, was killed in a motel room and burned like the previous 2 victims. The next, Pamela Weissenfield, survived her attack. On May 15, the burned body of Ann Rayner was found in a hotel room in Manhattan South. She was also burned, but Cottingham didn't remove her head or hands. Instead,
is it Ann Rayner or Jean Rayner?
I have Ann Rayner.
I have over here Jean Rayner, 25-year-old.
Well, Ann Rayner, I don't know, it says Ann Rayner here. So she was burned, but Cottingham did not remove her head and hands. Instead, he cut off her breasts. On May 22nd, he solicited a prostitute named Leslie Ann Odell and took her to the Quality Inn Motel in Hashbrook Heights, the same motel to which he had taken Valerie Ann Street and killed her. Okay. While he was torturing Odell, security staff heard her screams and called the police. When Cottingham tried to run, he was caught by them and arrested. Among his possessions, they found handcuffs, an open roll of duct tape, leather S&M gear, a toy gun, a knife, and the drug he had used to incapacitate his victims. During interrogation, Cottingham claimed to have paid Odell $180 for sex, and that everything he did to her had been consensual. Further investigation connected him to more crimes. His fingerprint was found on a pair of handcuffs found on Valerie Ann Street's crime scene. When the police searched his home, they found mountains of evidence linking him to other murders, such as the key to Marianne Carr's apartment, a toy koala bear, and a pair of earrings that had belonged to Valerie Ann Street, and jewelry belonging to Dita Gazzari and Ann Rayner. His handwriting also linked him to the motel rooms he had rented and committed the killings inside. The following year, Cottingham was found guilty of 15 of the 20 counts for which he was charged. Over the next 3 years, he was put on trial for his additional murders and attempted murders. During the proceedings, he attempted suicide twice. In total, he was convicted of 5 murders. He confessed to Nancy Vogel's murder many years later and sentenced to hundreds of years in prison, a sentence he is still serving. In 2020, he confessed to 3 more murders. So this guy is like a box of surprises, huh? So he committed all these murders, right? He was convicted for a few of them. All right, it says here, what, 15? No? And then it says, well, he was convicted of 5. Yeah, he was guilty of 15 out of the 20. And then he was put on trial to the murder and the proceedings. Total, he was convicted. So he was convicted. He was put on trial for 15 and convicted of 5. And then he confessed to Nancy Vogel, so that was 6. And sentenced to hundreds of years. Okay. And then 2020, he confessed to 3 more.
So in 2020, he confessed to 3 more, and then los otros días, 5
and then
more.
The other day, last week, he confessed to like 4 more. All right, so let's go into his modus operandi before we go into his victims, known victims, right? And then we'll talk about like the whole update. All right. Cottingham targeted petite blondes in their late teens to mid 20s, and most often prostitutes. He would solicit them somehow, drug them by spiking their drinks with tuinal, which is a date tuino, which is a date drug used before Rohypnol became available. Okay. In bars, and then he'd take them somewhere secluded, usually to a motel, where he would blind them, gag them with duct tape, brutally rape, torture, and stab them before killing them by strangling them with a ligature. Presumably, to make identification harder, he would sometimes cut off their heads and hands and take parts with him. Among his known methods of torture were severely biting and scratching their nipples, cutting around the breasts,
My God.
and threatening them with a toy gun and leaving it within their reach so they would try to grab it, only to discover that it was fake. He
That
would
is so cruel, man.
Damn.
That is so cruel.
fucking guy, man.
I got my way out. I got my way out.
Take this, motherfucker! Click, click, click.
Bam. Bam.
Yeah, like the little flag comes out, bam.
Yes.
Bang.
Jeez, man. That's fucked up. Okay, so he would also make his victims call him master. He took trophies such as jewelry and other personal belongings after the crimes. He went to great lengths to cover them up, sometimes hiding the bodies in secluded locations or even setting them and the room they were in on fire.
Yo, these people are really full of themselves, man. Why all these guys that kill want people to call them master?
Well, they say that, I mean, obviously these professionals in the, forensics and all this shit, that's how they know usually when it's like a crime of passion. Like they try to figure out the serial killers, and sometimes they say that most of them, well, not most of them, but some of them, it's all about causing fear, feeling superior to the other person, like having total control over them or humiliating them.
Oh
And I guess that's part of it. Like that's why most of these sick fucks, they usually target women. They see them as the weaker species. I'm not saying that I agree with that, just in case, but that's how most of these people see it. They see the woman as a weaker species. I can humiliate, I can control them easier. I have power over them.
Yeah. You never seen these guys rape or, well, maybe there is or there isn't, I'm not sure, but kidnap or try to strangle some buffed up woman,
some big buff dude, right?
A big ass woman with big ass muscles, and no, you don't see none of that shit.
No, they usually aim for like these petite women.
Yeah, little women,
young.
Eso me acuerda la película Red Sparrow. ¿Te llegaron a ver Red Sparrow?
Yeah, I saw it.
¿Tú te acuerdas the scene where she's in the shower and this dude tries to rape her? And then como que lo último los ponen ahí, and she goes like, she gets naked and she goes like, hey, like, okay, here, take me. And then
Yeah.
he couldn't get it up because it's the el feeling that ser superior, that
Yeah, it's the control.
The
The control that they feel that they have.
Yeah.
When they give in, they're like, go ahead, take it. It's like, oh, well, I don't want it no more.
I don't want it no more.
Yeah.
Ew.
Ew.
All right, so his known victims, right, according to this
Known
article,
victims?
known victims, yes. October 28, 1967, Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. It was Nancy Schiavavogel, 29. She died strangled.
They all were.
July 17, 1968, Midland Park, New Jersey. Jackie Harp, She was 13.
That's so
That's
wrong.
crazy.
It's wrong any age, but damn, when you go that
Yeah.
far.
I think she was the one that he caught her, I think, coming home from school or something. April 7, Saddle River, New Jersey, Irene Blaze, 18, strangled. July 14, Emerson, New Jersey, Denise Falaska, 15,
Look at that.
strangled. August 9, 1974, Mountain Vale, New Jersey, Lorraine Marie Kelly and Mary Ann Pryor. Both were raped, tortured by burning, and drowned. Lorraine Marie Kelly, 17, and Mary Ann Pryor, 16. Wow. December 15 through 16, 1977, Bergen County, New Jersey, Mary Ann Carr, 26. She was raped, tortured, beaten, and fatally strangled. 1978. So he took, oh no, okay. I was going to say he took a 4-year break. No, but between 1974 and 1977, he took a 3-year break. Okay. 1978. March 22nd to 23, New York City, New York. Karen Schilt, 22, attempted rape and left for dead in a sewer, but she was rescued. October 10, Hackensack, New Jersey, Susan Geiger, 19, raped and attempted to kill, was pregnant at the time. Wow.
Wow, that's 2 at 1. Two in one shot.
December 1st through 2nd, 1979, New York City, New York, the Travelodge Motor Inn killings. Both were raped, tortured, fatally strangled, burned, and had their heads and hands cut off post-mortem. And that was Dita Gazzari, 22, and an unidentified victim, which they presume was 16. 1980, May 5th, Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, Valerie Ann Street, 19. He bit and cut her breasts. Beaten and fatally strangled. May 12th, Teaneck, New Jersey, Pamela Weisenfield, attempted to kill. So he bit repeatedly and she was beaten. But she survived, I guess. May 15, New York City, New York, Jean Reiner, 25.
Told you.
So there was Ann Street. Yeah, here it says Jean Reiner. She was raped repeatedly, stabbed, tortured, fatally strangled, burned, removed both of her breasts post-mortem. Wow. May 27, Hasbrook Heights, also. New Jersey, Leslie Ann Odell, 18, attempted, beaten, raped, sodomized, non-fatally slashed with a knife, bit her breast, and tortured. Jeez. So yeah, then they talk about here like the TV shows and whatnot where he's making an appearance, apparently. So after all of this, all of these murders, my wife asks the question that I also ask and I don't understand. Why is this person still alive?
Is it justice fault?
Like why are my tax dollars paying for this piece of shit to eat every day, have food, water, shower?
I think there's some people that have done less than that and they've gotten the chair, the gas chamber, whatever it is that they give them nowadays.
I always try to understand this. Like, he's been in jail, what? So this was like in the 80s was his last victim, right? The 80s?
Yeah.
So he was caught. Did it say exactly what year he got caught? Maybe in 1980, I think.
Let's see.
Anyway, let's say he was caught in 1980s.
May 1981.
Look at that. 1981. That's 41 years that we've been keeping this person alive. And mind you, he keeps adding more people because after he got caught in 2020, he confessed to 3 more murders, right?
So what is he getting out of it by confessing?
I don't know.
They just
man.
keep elongating his life there. It's like I'll
But
give you
that's why
3 more if you give me this.
at this point, I think is this article that I'm gonna read now. I think that it's basically at this point they're not even adding more time. Like it's a waste of time, and you're gonna go to trial or whatever for this. You're wasting people's time and
Yeah,
money.
I mean, he
True,
already
but like-
confessed. Why would you go to trial if he
But what is
Like-
he getting out of it? What is he getting? Is he's getting some comfort in the prison? Is he avoiding getting the gas chamber, executed?
I don't know. I
Maybe.
know that he
There's
had
something.
said in one of the articles I read, he has said that his goal was to surpass 100 murders. He keeps adding. At this point, some of these like investigators and they don't even believe all that he's saying now, because at this point he can say whatever. There's actually we spoke about a case about the Long Island serial killer.
Mhm.
This is the episode I did by myself. And I think they're saying that, I don't know how this would be connected, but I think that one of the bodies that they have found, they don't know how old that body was. It wait. So I don't know if I'm mixing it up, but I read somewhere that I guess one of the bodies that they found that hasn't been identified, they don't know how long that was in Long Island, in the beach in Long Island. It could have been years ago, could have been in the 80s, could have been in the 70s.
True.
They're saying that he could have had to do with some of those, not all of them, because some of those are like, recent years. So, according to, this is Fox News. I didn't want to read Fox News. I wanted to read the Daily News. So the Daily News, right, written by Rebecca White and Graham Raymond, New York Daily News. This was on December 5th, 2022, 2 days ago, as of the recording of this podcast. Says here, a convicted serial killer known as the Times Square Killer, whose savage string of sexually charged murders stretched from New Jersey to Manhattan for nearly 15 years, confessed on Monday to the half-century-old homicides of 5 women on Long Island. Richard Cottingham, who is now 76, who is also known as the, quote, torso killer, end quote, is already serving time in New Jersey State Prison in Trenton for 11 homicides committed between 1967 and 1980. Right? So here we'll see in the picture, right? He is dressed in a medical gown, and he appeared via video in Nassau County Supreme Court from a prison hospital ward and pleaded guilty to the 1968 murder of dance teacher Diane Cusick.
Mm-hmm.
He also admitted to killing 4 other women in 1972 and 1973. Quote, "You did this to her," end quote. Cusick's brother, Jim Martin, yelled at Cottingham's image on the TV screen during the hearing in Mineola. He turned our lives upside down, end quote. Quote, "My dad carried her body not knowing if she was alive or dead," end quote, Martin added. Can you imagine? Offered a chance to speak to the victims' families during the hearing. See, so they did do a hearing.
Yeah.
Cottingham flatly refused, saying only, quote, "No," end quote. Cusick, 23, disappeared outside the Green Acres Mall in Valley Stream after going there to buy dance shoes. Cottingham was linked through DNA to Cusick's murder and charged this past June. Nassau authorities say he sexually assaulted her and strangled her in a parked car on February 16, 1968. Cussick's father found her body in the back seat of her car. Her mouth was covered with an adhesive band and her hands were tied together, authorities said. Investigators previously said Cottingham pretended to be a police officer or mall security and accused Cussick of shoplifting before he strangled her. Cussick's daughter, Darlene Altman, shook and cried at the hearing. Quote, "The day Mr. Cottingham murdered my mother, the lives of all those who loved her forever changed." End quote. Quote, "I will never know what my life would or could have been had this tragedy not occurred." End quote. Additionally, Cottingham admitted Monday to the strangulation of 21-year-old Mary Beth Hines, whose body was thrown from the Peninsula Boulevard Bridge in Rockville Center and found floating face down in a muddy creek on May 10th, 1972. He also admitted to strangling Laverne Moy, whose body was tossed from the same bridge on July 20, 1972. A boy found the body in the creek. Moy was 23, was from St. Albans, Queens, and had 2 children. Quote, "There's been some dark days behind us, but today the sun shines brightly because justice has been served." End quote. Her son, John Moy, said Monday, holding a photo of his mom. Cottingham also confessed to killing Sheila Heyman, 33, a mother of 3 who was found stabbed and bludgeoned to death on the bathroom floor of her North Woodmore home in July 1973. See, this case is fucked up. I mean, they're all fucked up, but this one, her husband discovered her body after returning from a trip to the store. Authorities said her throat was cut and she had stab wounds on her head and a broken jaw. Heyman's daughter, Randy Childs, said the suspicion that fell on her father after her mother's murder wore on the family. So not only this guy kills, right, this guy's wife, goes to the store, comes back, finds his wife's dead, but apparently, I mean, he became a suspect, which is normal, but it's fucked up that you have to grieve your wife and also deal with being a suspect when you're totally innocent.
Yep.
Quote, "My brothers and I learned early in life that the world can be dark and dangerous, a dangerous place, and there are people who can inflict harm on us, even in the perceived safety of our own homes," she said. Cottingham also admitted to strangling Marita Emerita Rosado Nieves. Super Hispanic.
Only Hispanic.
Yeah. 18. She was 18. 2 days after Christmas in 1973. Her body was found covered in plastic bags and wrapped in a gray blanket near a bus stop on Ocean Parkway by Jones Beach. He was sentenced Monday to 25 years to life in prison for the Cussick murder. They're just adding to the hundreds, I guess. Quote, "There are no words to describe how evil you are," end quote, Justin Karen Fink said from the bench. Under the plea agreement, he won't be prosecuted for the other 4 killings because he is already in prison for life for the prior murders. Quote, "Serial killer Richard Cottingham has called irreparable harm to so many people," end quote. Nassau District Attorney Ann Donnelly said, quote, "He overpowered, assaulted, and brutally murdered the victims to satisfy his craven desires," end quote. In 2021, he pleaded guilty to the killings of 2 New Jersey teens in August 1974. He was already serving a life sentence in New Jersey. Toward the end of his years-long rampage, Cottingham killed and dismembered 3 prostitutes in Times Square and then set them on fire, earning the nicknames Torso Killer and Times Square Killer. Okay, we read everything else. It talks about his first victims and whatnot. So what
he
do
was
we
killing.
think of?
He was killing because he wanted to kill. He wasn't bullied.
Yeah.
He wasn't like beaten. Like
He was a douche.
he's douche.
So like
And
one
yet-
of the articles that I read, it says like, you know how usually they have like patterns where you can like stay one step ahead of these people, or you try to. he was like all over the place. It's like he was just doing it to
For
do
the
it.
fun of it.
Yeah.
For the
I
fun
mean,
of
he
it.
killed them in similar ways, but it's like,
Let me try this today. Let me try that today.
yeah, some of them. I mean, if you notice, there's a bunch of places in Jersey that he went to do that.
Mm-hmm.
New York, Times Square.
Cutting off the breast, biting, scratching. I don't
Just
know.
because.
Just because. And
Yeah.
yet, like David said, they're using our tax dollars to keep that fat
Yeah,
fuck.
man.
Because I don't want
That's the part I
that
don't
obese
get.
dude,
Fat fuck.
on check with his diabetes,
I'm
his
telling you,
meals.
that's
Because
the
you know
part.
they're giving him the best medical treatment that they can give in a prison. So if he has diabetes, he has his insulin, and he's being treated well. So yeah.
That's the shit that you gotta protect these people's rights. Mind you, they violated a bunch of people.
Exactly.
Their rights.
Yeah,
and
no
their
uno,
families'
no dos.
rights.
It's a bunch.
Like, it's hard for me to comprehend why this is a thing. Why do we have people that are searching to get Medicaid, to get health insurance? They get denied. Yet you have parasites like this guy getting treatment, getting this, making sure he's okay.
Yep.
And then cases like this, I really don't understand this either. When you see that they put them in jail, sometimes these people cannot be in general population because they will get killed or raped or murdered, and
And they put him secluded
Yeah.
somewhere else. And
Why?
Solitary.
they're still living the life.
Why? Like, why are we protecting you? Why do we care if you get raped? Why do we care if you get killed? Why? You didn't care when you raped these women, when you killed, when you tortured. I'm telling you, I believe in eye for an eye. You raped, you killed, you tortured, you bit nipples, you scratched, you cut off titties. Let's
You should
do
get
the same thing
right back.
You got to do the same thing. I guarantee you, a lot of these serial killers will start disappearing. We'll see less and less of them.
A little dick in the ass, and that's it. We'll straight.
Let them get raped. Who cares? I don't care. Let them get raped. Let them get beat. Let them get tortured. If you didn't want to be here, you shouldn't have put yourself here.
Exactly. But you know what? They all think that they can get away with it. They never think of the consequences. They think, "Oh, I'm the smart one. I'll figure it out. I'll get away with it."
Yeah, but probably that's why él también he's doing the thing that he's doing, like por filtración, diciendo, hey, I killed
that's the
this.
idea,
Yeah, because they're gonna protect him. They're gonna be like, no, let's have him here just in case he fesses up to another killing or
exactly,
whatever.
that's my point. That's what I was saying. Is he giving every time like his time that is served gets close, he'll give, oh, I got 3 more victims. You understand? What is he getting out of it? Just giving 3 or 4 more victims later on. There's got to be something there.
I guarantee you, if we would use my system, he wouldn't be confessing.
No, of course not.
My system is this. I don't believe in the death penalty either. We don't have to do death. Death is too easy for these people.
Yeah.
I would make sure I'm taking care of you. I will make sure you get medical help. I will make sure I'm keeping you well fed. I want you alive. You guys remember what Cersei did to the Dornish lady and her daughter when they poisoned her daughter?
Don't remember.
Refrescame because I forgot.
So when Cersei knows that the Dornish woman, I forgot her name, was the one who poisoned her daughter with that lipstick that she kisses her. Remember that?
Yes.
Cersei uses the same poison on her daughter, right? But what does she do to the mom? She chains her in front of the daughter and tells her, you're going to watch your daughter die gonna watch her rot
Yeah,
away.
I remember now.
And we're gonna keep you alive. We're gonna feed you, and if you don't eat, we'll force feed you because we want to keep you alive. You're gonna suffer through this. That would be my system. I will keep you nice and fed, healthy, but I will let the wolves loose on you in jail. I'm not protecting you. I'm gonna let your ass get beaten. I'm gonna let your ass get raped, literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you suffer your consequences for years to come. You will regret what you did over and over and over and over. You will plead for someone to kill you.
You will look for a way to kill yourself.
That's what I would do. And I guarantee you a lot of these silly crimes will start going away. People will think about it. So it's like, holy shit, if
That's
I go to
some
jail,
medieval shit.
if I go to jail,
Medieval
bro, what that
torture.
is, I'm gonna get raped, I'm gonna get beaten, I'm gonna get stabbed, but then they're gonna stitch me up to be better so I can go through it again. That would be my system. Especially for people like this that abused young women, helpless girls, 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds. Fuck you, man. You are getting raped so bad. I will schedule a gang rape for you weekly. I will pay people.
Mandingos.
I'm telling you, I would pay people. No. All about his human rights. No, fuck his human rights. He didn't care for human rights.
Oh, exactly.
If he would have cared for human rights, he wouldn't have done what he did. And I'm sorry for all of you who are listening or watching, and you might get offended. Too bad. I'm serious. Like when it comes to this, no, people like that need to suffer. Being in a room by yourself reading books, that's not enough.
No,
Being
of course
protected from the
He's
general
getting
population.
fat. You saw how fat he is, man. He's getting well fat.
That's what no, that's not suffering. You know, you're just living your life. Okay, you lost your freedom. Okay, that's okay. You know, stuff like that is for like, you know, petty thieves and stuff like that where they lose their freedom. Okay, they might think about it, but people like this, and especially you're confessed. We have DNA proof. There's no options here of, oh, maybe we have the wrong guy. We don't want to torture the wrong guy. No. We know we have the right guy. He's gladly admitting to more and more. Yeah. Let me serve 40 years of beatings, stabbings.
Not
raping.
even 40, man. Not even 40. I think
telling you.
5 years will be enough.
You stop eating, I'm going to force feed you. Force feed you and make you healthy again. You got cut. Oh, no, let me die. Nah, motherfucker, you living. I'm taking care of you. I'm going to make sure you better. And once you are better, I'll throw you right back in there so you can go right back through it again. I will offer incentives to other inmates to be like, listen, you'll get special privileges if you do this to this person. I don't know. That's why I'm not a warden. I'm sorry. Nah, man, but it's unjust, man, what these young women went through, and then their families. Like some of these women had kids. Their kids had to grow up without a mom. You know, what about all that suffering? No. That's just me, though. All right, so that has been Richard Cottingham. I don't know if they called him Dick or not, but Dick Cottingham.
We could call him Dick just for being one.
Fuck that guy. Like, nah.
Dick Cunningham. Well, I keep saying Cunningham. It's Cottingham.
Cottingham.
I keep thinking about that Richard Cunningham.
I feel like I got all worked up in this episode. I'm sorry, people. I take this a little personal. Yes. Nah, but when it comes to cases like this, like I don't even make jokes about it because it's like, oh god.
No, but we gotta crack some jokes, you know, even though it's not using what happened.
Yes. It's just like I saw, man. I was seeing like these the quarter princes. What is it that they call the quarter princes that the people were showing up to, like happening this week? And you see like this woman, like the daughter, I think it's the daughter of, who was it? Justin Karen. I think it was the first one that I think Cusick. Yeah. And like the daughter of one of the victims, and how she's saying, like, for 50 years I've been holding on to this, waiting to see justice. Yeah, the daughter of Diane Cusick.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what it is? For 50 years, bro, you don't know what happened exactly to your mom or who did it. And you always have that question. For 50 fucking years. Nah, man.
And she was 4 years old when they killed her mom.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I want some tacos.
Tacos?
This
Some
dude always
tacos.
ends up
I
saying
ate
he wants
cereal for
something to
dinner.
eat.
I don't even want. Yo, I cooked something that I
That's
haven't
already a
cooked.
trend, man.
I cooked something that I haven't cooked in years.
What?
White rice and corned beef with French fries in it.
Oh, I made that not too long ago, but it wasn't French fries.
I haven't made that, but
It
I'm
was
talking about
corn.
in years. And I made it, and I made it yesterday, and we had like a leftovers, and I was gonna eat that, and then I was like, I ate frosted flakes for dinner.
I made some macaronis with ground beef and some cheese in it.
Dude, I miss your cooking, man.
Huh?
I miss your cooking, man.
Well, you're gonna have to eat
Man.
when you come over here for a visit, at least.
So anyway, we want to hear your feedback. What do you think about this gem? I was gonna say Peter Cottingham. I don't know why. Richard Cottingham. What do you think of this gem? I want to know. I want to hear. I want to read your comments. Yes, please leave me the comments. What do you think about this gem? If you have not done so far, now is a good time to subscribe to the channel if you are listening thus far. Subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Drop us a comment. Share with your friends. If you're listening to us via podcast, I ask that you follow the podcast. Drop a review. If you can comment, and please, above all, share. Share it on all your social media. Share with all your friends. We want to hear your stories. I don't know, like I said, paranormal stories, weird stories, scary stories, ghost stories, murder stories, whatever.
Tell us how much you hate this douche.
Urban legends. I love urban legend stories. Oh, I fucking love them. They're the best.
Yes.
Or if you shat yourself.
Or if you
even if it's a cheesy joke.
Yeah, like I wanna
Well, he got it 4 days later, but he got it.
If you got a joke, you know what? Send me a joke, man, so we can read some of these jokes.
Something good.
But yeah, if you guys got like urban legends from wherever you are around the world, whatever state, whatever country, whatever part of the world you live in, and they have like these interesting urban legends, drop us a line at the grimfixpodcast@gmail.com. Listen, you could be our next topics in one of these episodes, all right? So, all right, this has been the Grim Fix Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Till next time, please be safe. This is the Grim Fix Podcast. Peace.
Peace, everyone.
Peace.